Hello and welcome back. This is Dr. Edward Padama, and this time we're going to discuss how to formulate questions for your statement of the problem or the SOP of your research. So before we start, please click the subscribe button and then click the notification bell to alert you when a new video is uploaded. And if this video was able to help you, please give this video a thumbs up. So let's start. Okay, so a request was given in our previous video, which is entitled How to Formulate the Statement of the Problem. And the request was to create a video discussing the formulation of questions for the statement of the problem. So I hope this video would be able to help you and guide you in formulating good research questions for your SOP. So what is a good research question? A good research question is essential to guide your research paper, project, or thesis. It pinpoints exactly what you want to find out and gives your work a clear focus and purpose. All research questions should consider the following. First one is it should be focused on a single problem or issue. So this tells you that every question that you are going to use in your research paper should be reflected and relevant and taken from the formulated statement of the problem. So again, questions that you will be using for your research paper should be directly relevant and related to the SOP that you have previously formulated. So go back to your SOP, review, and from the problem, you formulate questions that are relevant to these problems. The next one is researchable using primary and or secondary sources. Before you proceed to your research paper, make sure that references, sources, or evidences should be available, whether it's through the use of a physical library or using online browsers or references. The next one, feasible to answer within the time frame or time limit and practical constraints. And the next one, specific enough to answer thoroughly. And the next is complex enough to develop the answer over the space of a paper or thesis. And the last one should be relevant to your field of study and or society. As much as possible, try to choose questions and problems that are directly relevant or directly affects you in your specific field or area of specialization. Okay, let us try to look at a sample research problem and the possible research questions that can be lifted from this problem. So in this example, young people or people under 30s increasingly engage in gig economy, which is temporary employment, instead of the traditional full-time employment. But there is little research into young people's experience of this type of work. Possible research questions that can be lifted from this research problem are the following. What are the main factors that influence young people's decision to engage in the so-called gig economy? Another is, what do workers perceive as its advantages and disadvantages? So do you see the relationship between these first two questions to the problem on the left side? And the third, what does age and education level have an effect on how people experience this type of work? All of these questions are directly lifted from the research problem located on your left side. Okay, another example of a research problem and possible research question is that the teacher at school X do not have a skill or the skill to recognize or properly guide gifted children in the classroom. So this is the research problem presented for their paper. And a question or the question that can be lifted from this research problem is, what practical techniques can teachers at school X use to better identify and guide gifted children? So if you can see, it directly presents a question that answers the research problem. So the problem is teachers in school X do not have the skills While in the research question, in order to get the answer is what practical techniques or skills can teacher at school X use to better identify and guide gifted children? There is no specific template for the formulation of a research question, but there are advices, tips, and guides that you can use in order to create good and strong research questions. So these questions will depend on the type of research that you are conducting. And these are the following. So in a descriptive type of research, you can use what are the characteristics of X, or whoever is the variable that you use. So you just substitute that for X. While you also have comparative research, correlational, exploratory, explanatory, evaluation research, action research, and the corresponding types of research question that you can use in order to formulate your questions. And again, these are some of the advices and tips that you can use in order to strengthen and formulate a good research question. And one of them is focuses on a single topic or problem, which was given earlier. So your central question should follow from your research problem to keep your work focused. If you have multiple questions, they should all clearly relate to this central aim. Another is answerable using primary or secondary data. You must be able to answer by collecting quantitative and or qualitative data, or by reading scholarly sources on the topic to develop an argument. If such data is impossible to access, you will have to rethink your question and ask something more concrete. Do not ask for subjective value judgment. Avoid subjective words like good, bad, better, and worse. The reason why you are conducting these research or investigations is to arrive at these conclusions and not to give them beforehand. So as these do not give a clear criteria for answering the question, if your question is evaluating something, use terms with more measurable definitions. So do not use is X or Y a better policy? Instead, use how effective are X and Y policies at producing rates of Z. The next one, do not ask why. So why questions, or why questions started with why are usually too open to serve as good research questions. There are often so many possible causes that a research project cannot give a thorough answer. Try asking what or how questions instead. So instead of asking why does X occur, try to ask what are the main factors contributing to X. How is X influenced by Y? Hello, and thank you for joining me in this video discussion on how to create research questions for your statement of the problem. If you have any questions or requests or video requests, write it down at the comment section below, and please click the subscribe button and the notification bell to alert you when a new video is uploaded. And if this video was able to help you, give it a thumbs up. I highly appreciate it, and I hope to see you on the next video. Again, stay safe, God bless, see you on the next video. Bye!